ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां व्यासशंकरमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक् प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्म उपनिषदम् आहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्यां मामा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्तनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरते य उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। So 4.3 is a continuation, or it's a conclusion of what happened in 4.2 and before. So what it says here in brief is that Vayu, Agni and other devatas also, they learnt about this Yakshaha or this Yaksham or this Brahman which is there, the supreme, the celestial light which you saw, only from Indra's teaching. So Indra was the first one to learn. So there's always be someone who learned first. And then that person who is learning the first becomes the Pratama. So from the first person, then the teaching goes down to other people. So that is why when the Vayu etc. went close to the Yaksham did not mind, or they because he knew that those people are actually the students, they are only studying and they don't know much about it. So he was able to forgive them, saying that okay, you do not have enough adequate knowledge, preparation is not there, so you may not be knowing who I am. So he says, having a conversation and trying to having a dialogue with them and trying to prove to them that you are limited. So that is what happened when the Yaksham came into contact with Vayu and Agni. And they went back after they were defeated. They were exposed that their knowledge is not adequate. So even though they knew who he was, they didn't know really who he was at that level. What was the message given by Indra? You thoroughly go and analyze. So thoroughly means what? You know everything and all about the Yaksha. But they were not able to know, because if you have half knowledge, supposing you study Shastram for some 3-4 years, and some Upanishad you just go through here and there, and then you drop out. So your knowledge is limited, correct? It is not complete, because even for the fruit to come, it takes time. If you pluck it halfway, the fruit will, even if you try to pluck it from the plant and try to put it in the arasi bin, it will not be as tasty as actually it is actually coming from the tree, correct? So that means that it has to ripen in the natural process of time. And so here, that's what it says here, only because of Indra's teaching, only Vayu Agni were able to know who Yaksham was. Okay? And Indra learned from Uma. So there is a parampara, or there's a teaching methodology being employed, where Indra learned from the Guru Uma. And from Indra, who was the first teacher, then other people learned. So there's always that you should learn from a teacher. The emphasis is given here that one must not directly learn or directly go and just read because even though you may be well aware about it, you may know, but still there's always a possibility of the error coming into picture. something will be missed, something not structured. So that is why even the Bhashyam also, Adi Shankara follows a method. See, I think you asked me one other day, why do we have to go all this? Because when the person writes this, right, this has been taught for right from Swamiji when he was about 35 years of age. So he passed away when he was 72, 78, 83, something like this. So he has done 5-year course. The same thing was taught. And even now, the same thing is taught in Gurukulam also. So the same Bhashyam is taught. So if you go to Gurukulam, happen to visit there, and if you happen to sit in the Bhashyam class, same thing will be taught. Same process will be taught. Because the method does not change. The text does not change, but the interpretation will change from teacher to teacher. The interpretation means like the examples given or the upamanam given can vary from teacher to teacher, just to make it a bit clear. But otherwise, they will not deviate from the main topic. Okay, that's what here also, that even though Indra actually wanted to know immediately, he has to learn only from Uma. And for learning that, he has to drop his ahankara. So he meditated on that. So let's look at this mantra, then we'll go into the meaning of that. Tasmat va Indraha. Tasmat va Indraha Atitaram iva Anyadevan saha Hena nedishtam pasparshaha. Pasparsha. So, Tasma, therefore, this Indra, Atitaram. So, Atitaram, we saw the meaning before in the previous class. If I'm not mistaken, we saw the word Atitaram. Means the excel. Atitaram means the excelling, right? So, excel. So, the word same thing here, Atitaram. In this way, Iva Anya Devan. So, other devatas also, they excelled because of Indra's knowledge being given. So, Indra actually was excelling. So, when the teacher is excelling in knowledge, the student also supposed to excel. Supposed to. Because the student will naturally excel because of the method it is followed. So, here the key essence is that the student need not do anything great. The student does not need to worry about whether I'm getting the message or not, because the teaching process, the method itself takes care of the person getting knowledgeable. Over a period of time, slowly, the person knows, and the way of teaching also gets transmitted to the person who is a student. So tomorrow, one of you become a teacher in Vedanta and you start teaching this particular thing, you will also be following some similar methodology, similar way of teaching. This is how it is done. So that is how this knowledge is consistent. It is actually not broken. Otherwise, everybody will come and introduce their own knowledge. That's what it says here. Tasmad va Indraha Atitaram excelled. Iva Anya Devanam Saha Hi Etat Nedishtam Pasparshaha. So the Bhashyam also, there's nothing great about it. Same thing talks about here. So if you look at the top first line, Yasmad Agni Vayu Api. So Vayu Api means also Indra Vakya Deva Vidancha Krituhu. So Vidancha Krituhu means understood. Vidancha Krituhu means understood. Indrena Hi means only through Indra. So they only understood through Indra, who Vayu Api, Agni, Vayu Api, etc. So all the people, other devatas. He only says Vayu and Indra here. But there are other devatas. And Indrena Hi Uma Vakyat Pratamam Shutam Brahmeti Ataha. So it means only through the teaching of Uma. Uma Vakyat means there is a dialogue between the Guru and the student. So the Guru being Uma and this Vakyam means the statements being expressed. And Prathamam means first, foremost. Shrutam means learning. So Shrutam means heard. So first time through the teachers, the Guru's first, the words, Indra learned it. And what is it? Brahmeti ataha. Means this, what is Brahma? So what is Yaksham? He understood through the words of the Uma, this Guru here. So the underlying message here is that always it is the Guru who actually leads the disciple student near the object. Right? So that is the message here. So here also is Prathama. So Prathama means for foremost. As Shrutam Brahmeti ataha. The Indrasya Sarve Deva Shreshtatva Hetuhu. So here, Hetu means the reason why Indra is Shreshtaha is given here. Because Tasmad vai Indraha Atitaram Iva Atisherata Iva Anya Deva. So Indra, because he is an excellent person. He's an excellent person. He excelled in everything. And why he was given the position of Indra? Because he is definitely better than other devatas. Anya Devan. So Anya Devan means other devatas were also there, but he was definitely superior or held position higher than other people, not only because he is Indra. It is not because of his power, it is also because of his intellect and knowledge. He was able to reason. He was able to come Indra can go and approach Shiva directly. Indra can go approach Vishnu directly. And if anything happens in Indra Loka, supposing Indra gets disturbed, then Devatas also know immediately about it because they are connected, just like Chidabhasa, they are connected. So anything happens in Indra Loka, Vishnu is worried. See, something is happening in Indra Loka, Rakshasa is coming there, so he will come and directly ask. So he knows about it. So Indra doesn't have to go and talk to him. Before even Indra comes there, he already knows that, oh, so you have come for this. So what it means that Indra had a special position, a special stature in the whole of the Devata Lokas. That's why he says here, Indrasya Sarva Deva Shreshtatva. So Shreshta means what? The superiority or the higher order. Hetuhu, the reason for that. Tasmad vai Indraha Atitaram Iva Atisherata Iva Anyan Devan. So Atisherate is the one I gave you the adverb for Atitaram. So Atishayena Sherate means they excelled. So if you look at the previous verse in page number 25, you will see that word given Brahmagyanasya Drishtam Phalam. So there you see Anyan Devan Atitaram Atisherate Iva Ete Devaha. So same thing also is repeated here also. Saha Hi Etat Nedishtam Pasparshaha. Yasmat Saha Hi Enat Pratamo Vidanchakara Brahma iti Uktartam Vakyam. So therefore, this foremost, this Enat means this talks about this Brahma. See, Enat means this talks about this Brahma who is of the Pratamaha, Vidanchakara Brahma. So he understood this Brahma through Uktartam Vakyam. So Vakyam means sentences. So sentences. And Uktaha means said. So the sentences which are uttered by Uma, in that process only he understood what is this Brahma. Otherwise Brahma would not have been understood by Indra. Here also one should make a note that this Etat or Enat talks about Sagunam Brahma. It doesn't talk about Nirgunam Brahma here. So Indra is only seeing Sagunam still. He is not seeing Nirgunam Brahma yet. Because he saw the form. And the form is what he was interested to know what the form was. So the form is what he explained, saying that this form is none other than consciousness. But the consciousness took the form of the Yaksha. And that is what was seen by Indra. So the first lesson he learned was that his Yaksha was none other than Brahman who appeared in this particular form. Okay. That's why Brahma iti uktartam vakyam. So Vidanchakara means in this way understood that so Pratama Enat Vidanchakara Brahma iti uktartam vakyam. So that's correct. So nothing major here. Then 27 is okay, Uma? 27. Page number 27 is okay? Clear? Jaishankar is okay, right? Okay. See now, from 4.4, 4.5, 4.6, he talks about 3 types of upasana. So, upasana means the method of or meditation techniques or meditating. So 4.4 talks about Adidhaiva Upasanam. Adidhaiva Upasanam. 4.5 talks about Adhyatma Upasanam. Adhyatma Upasanam. And 4.6 talks about Guna Vishishta Brahma Upasanam. So, Adidhaiva Brahma Upasanam, Adhyatma Brahma Upasanam, Guna Vishishta Brahma Upasanam. And here, there are, because it is Sagunam Brahma, there has to be something to be thought about. So, in any Sagunam Brahma, there is an object of knowledge. And even if it is meditation, if it is form, anything, there has to be something. So here also, like in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, there is a alambanam of the horse. So the horse is being actually used as the alambanam. Because ashvaha. So alambanam, when you say, means it's a form of meditation. So the horse is being used as the form, and the different parts of the horse are used for identifying different things. So same also here also, the 2 things are used here. One thing is Vidyut, means lightning. Vidyut means lightning. And second thing they use is also the winking of the eye. Winking of the eye and Vidyut. So they are used as an example for meditation. So we'll go, that's what it talks about here. So we'll see what the mantra says. Tasyaisha adesho yadetat vidyutho Vyadhutadau. So Vyadhutadha. So the word 3, you have to extend it. Vyadhutadha. So you have to extend it. So Vyadhutadha iti trayami mishada. Samaviti, some 3 is there. So Shada means what? It's actually emphasis given. Correct? Vidyutada means emphasis given. So just as Vidyutada.
The matra.
So matra. So means when you give emphasis, that means that just as this. So me mishada. So it's also upasana. So tasya esha adesho. So here adesho means it is not order. So adesho means adesha means you should not take as order here. Adesha means it is the prescribed method of meditation. So here adesha when you say or upadesha when you say here, it means talks about meditation or upasana only. In normal language, when you say adesha means order, correct? And upadesha means advice. Here, both of them are used, but in this context, you must use only as upasana. Means in this way, you should do meditation. And what it says here, what is the method? Yad etad means that etad talks about the Brahma. Okay. So what is Brahma? Sagunam Brahma. So that Brahma which is of the nature of form. Okay. Sagunam Brahma is compared to what? Is Vidyuto. So Vidyuto means what? Lightning. So what is lightning? If you see the lightning, right? Lightning comes and goes, correct? So in meditation also what is trying to do is meditate upon that lightning. So the lightning which comes and goes quickly. Correct? So he talks about here that Vidyaduta means Yadutyaha talks about here. Three things it talks about here. One is the lightning. Second thing is iti nimeshaha. See the word nimishada. So it's called nimeshaha. So nimeshaha and manovrittihi. So nimesha means winking. So there is when you blink, they keep winking, right? So there is it's as fast as lightning. Like we cannot control the winking of the eye. See, it is natural. So what is comparing is just as the winking of the eye, just as the lightning which is coming and going, you have to, the manovritti also is like this. So the manovritti is what the vritti rising in the mind is also like the lightning and the winking of the eye. That means the thoughts which is arising is as fast or as flashing as the lightning. Because see, all our thoughts are actually coming and going. And our thoughts doesn't have any, it's not even second, not even 1 nanosecond, less than a second, whatever you call, anytime. It is very short, it just comes and goes. And lightning also, when you see, you only know there's a streak of lightning coming, but before you could look at it, the lightning is already gone. You only see the shining of the lightning, correct? And you know it's lightning. But you cannot focus on lightning because it is so fast. So here is comparing the manovritti or the vritti rising in the mind as equivalent to the lightning, equivalent to the winking of the eye. So it is a sort of, is leading slowly into a section where instead of looking at outside, he's asking us to meditate on something which you can manage. So in chapter 3, I think we talked about this. I think I made a note somewhere here. In chapter 3, this particular thing was talked about. Let me see if I can bring it up. Page 2, chapter 3. So, see page 2, if you go to page number 2 of chapter 3, you will see that we talked about 3 types of upasana, correct? Vidyutaha, winking of the eye, Nimeshaha, second, and then manovritti, thoughts, correct? So all the 3 are talked about here. So the same thing is referred here as well. So what it says here is iti adidaivatam. So this adidaivatam means this type of upasana where one meditates on the winking of the eye or the lightning which is striking there, because it is called adidaivatam. So it is a form of upasana. So let's go to the Bhashyam now. It says, see, Devata Vishayaha Brahmana Upasano Padeshaha. It means Devata Vishaya means what? That which is pertaining to Adidaivatam. So that which is pertaining to the act of God. So lightning is an act of God. Winking also is an act of God, because we do not have any control over the winking, correct? Can we control the winking? Because it is an act of God. So we keep winking, that's how it is. So it's called, so these two are compared. Also the manovritti also is what? The manovritti also is considered as the same, because this also we cannot control. So vrittis are there, they just come and go, they are there. So you do not have a choice over this. So tasya prakritasya brahmanaha yesha adeshaha upamo padeshaha. So tasya prakritasya brahmanaha yesha adeshaha upamo padeshaha. Means what? See, prakritasya brahmanaha means what? Manifested consciousness or manifested Brahman. And here, the Prakritasya Brahmanaha talks about the Saguna Brahma Ishvaraha. Saguna Brahma Ishvaraha is equivalent to Vidyuta, lightning. Vidyut means lightning. So, Prakritasya Brahmanaha is equal to Saguna Brahma Ishvaraha, which is equal to lightning Vidyuta. Yesha Adeshaha. This is the method of meditating. This is what is referred here as meditative technique. So meditate on the lightning which is short. And the lightning is nothing but a manifestation of the consciousness in the form of a daivatam. Correct? It is an act of God. That's what it says here. And the word upamo upadeshaha. See, upamo means comparison. Upamo means comparison, or the comparison is made between what? The comparison is that this Saguna Brahma Ishvara is compared to, is equivalent to lightning, Vidyut. And Upadeshaha, when you say here, is Upasanam. So the Upasanam prescribed here, or the comparison made here, is referred to as the lightning or Vidyutaha, and which is none other than the manifested Brahman. Prakritasya Brahmanaha. So consciousness uses a Rupadi called lightning to reflect itself. So the method which is prescribed here is you have to use some form or the other to arrive at something. So some people use an object of knowledge, some people use something else. He says you use this because later on he is going to talk about how to not to look at outside and bring this concept inside of your mind. So later on he talks about, because the lightning is compared here, because the lightning is very fast. It cannot stay for long. And the mind also races very fast. So how do you focus, how do you meditate on the thought itself is being discussed. Correct. So the very essence of thought itself should be meditated upon. Because thought reflects object of knowledge, correct? And when you reflect on the object of knowledge outside, that means this actually becomes Bahya Savikalpa Samadhi. Right. So you should reflect on the class, Dribdishvika class. Drishya Savikalpa Anuvitta Samadhi, Shabda Anuvita Savikalpa Samadhi, correct? and Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So all of them, like what Drishyam, sometimes Drishyam is seen and then that becomes an object of knowledge. From there you arrive at what it is. Sometimes Shabdam means the sound comes through. The sound is focused upon as the meditation technique. Here, what it is saying is the lightning is used as an example here. So lightning also is a streak of lightning, which is very fast, and it is drutaha, like it's very fast, drutam. So same thing is used here also. And another example is nimeshaha. So nimesha means the winking of the eye. It's equivalent to, so vidyut, nimeshaha, manovritti. So three different techniques are talked about here, and all the techniques are referred to as Saguna Brahma Upasanam and is referred to as Adidhaiva Brahma Upasanam. Adidhaiva Brahma Upasanam is none other than Saguna Brahma Upasanam, which is represented by Upamau or comparison equivalent to Vidyut Nimeshaha Manovritti. So that is what is the first line. Tasya prakritasya brahmanaha esha adeshaha upamopadeshaha. Is it clear, that one? First, that first line there. Then, second line, nirupamasya brahmano. Nirupamasya brahmano ena upamanena upadeshaha saha ayam adesha iti uchyate. So nirupamasya brahmana means what? Nirupamasya means the one which is formless. So the formless Brahman is mentioned here. Yena upamanena means it is mentioned here or is compared here for only meditation, upadeshaha, having some features. So what is the feature of this Brahman, of the Saguna Brahma? Lightning. Second thing is winking of the eye. Third thing is manovritti. So all these three things are talked about as the same consciousness but with upadhis, with the manifesting medium. So the manifesting medium is what? For the consciousness is the lightning. So through the lightning only you know that there is something which is triggering that lightning. So the first what you see, lightning. Then through lightning only you arrive at the truth that there was something other than that which triggered the lightning, correct? Same way when you wink an eye also, why do you wink an eye? The winking of the eye is because there was something which is triggering the winking of the eye. So there was a power which is behind the winking of the eye, and that is being referred as Nirupamasya Brahmana. So it is an example. So Upamo given that the previous thing which is mentioned here, Tasya Prakritasya Brahmana Esha Adeshaha Upamo Upadeshaha is the Saguna Brahma Upasana. Then if you remove the Saguna, if you remove the lightning, if you remove the winking of the eye, or if you remove means resolve. If you resolve the winking of the eye, resolve the thoughts, resolve the lightning itself, then what remains is Nirupam, correct? What remains is Nirupamasya Brahmanaha. That's what it says here. It is to be understood that this formless Brahman is appearing as with form due to the upadhis. So it is okay to meditate first on the upadhis. Okay. Because directly you cannot go and meditate on the Brahman because your mind is not tuned to that. You'll have to, even for experienced sadhaka also, it is not possible for you to meditate on abstract Brahman. It is not possible. So even if it is somebody jnani also will say, I am meditating on the Supreme Brahman. They say like this. Supreme Brahman has got no attributes. How will you meditate on something which has got no attributes? So what you meditate on is actually a Sagunam Brahma. Correct. Then from Sagunam Brahma, you arrive at this Nirgunam Brahma saying that, oh, this is just a form only. This form itself is actually only coming because of this formless nature. So you resolve the form in form cognitively. Physically, you're still there. Correct. Physically, you're still meditating, everything there. But in Saguna Upasana, if you stop, then you are not able to go beyond this. So the people who meditation techniques properly, they do, right? They are taught to meditate on object of knowledge. They are not able to resolve beyond, because Vedanta, you need to study Vedanta. Then only you will be able to know that that object of knowledge also is not a truth. Correct. So only the Vedanti will be able to realize the truth and thereby can meditate on Saguna Brahmapasana, also meditate on Nirguna Brahmapasana. It is just like when you go to the beach, I told you, just look at the ocean. Right? The ocean you also see. You see the water, you see the waves, everything. But you cannot directly see the water, correct? Can you directly say that there's water? You cannot. You first, what do you say? Yes, I see there's a wave. I see it is an ocean with green color, blue color, etc. Then the other person stops there. He doesn't go beyond because he does not know it is water. But you know that I see the wave, I see the form, the ocean, I see the name, but I also see the water, which is the adharam for the waves and the ocean. And this is the realization is cognitive, it is not physical. Here also, what is saying, the vidyutat, the lightning you see here, and the winking of the eye is an object, correct? But the object is, you realize the object and then you understand that this is only a form and there's a formless nature beyond it, correct? That's what it says here. Nirupamasya brahmano yena upamanena upadeshaha saha ayam adeshaha iti uchyate. So it's only for meditation, upasana, it is talked about here. Kim tat yade tat prasiddham loke vidyito vyadyutatha. So vyadyutatha means it's a past tense. Illumined. And vidyuto means lightning. See, vidyuto means lightning. And vyadyutatha means illumined, or it's a verb. So the lightning illumined. So lightning illumined how? Loke means all the lokas which are there. So the lightning illumines means it shines everything, brings everything immediately. So prasiddham. So prasiddha means famous. So the word, the vidyuto means the dyu is the root word actually. Dyu is the root word, and dyuti means it's a luster, or it's a feminine gender word. Dyuti means the feminine gender word, it's called luster. So dyu is the root, dyuti is the feminine gender word. That's the And dyotate means shines. So dyotate means shines. So there are different words in this, derivation words. So dyotate means shines. Dyotanam means shining. And vidyotanam means lightning. So you arrive at the word like this. So dyu is the root word for the word vidyuto. Okay, it's coming from the word dyu. The dyuti is the light, is the luster or the shining nature of the light, of the lightning, because it illumines. It's a luster there, correct? So there's a particular shining nature there. It's called dyuti. Then dyotate means it actually shines. It means it actually shines. So luster, that is shine, shining, correct? Shine, shining, or shines. Then vidyotanam means the lightning. So vidyotanam, you arrive at that word only by this. So he uses the word vidyotanam next line. See this. See, kim tat yad etat siddham loke vidyuto vyadyutatat. Vyadyutat. What a difficult words Adi Shankara uses sometimes. I don't know why he uses such words. A lot of some grammatical grammar is there in this here. So Next word, if you see, Vidyotanam. See that word, Vidyotanam? So the Vidyotanam is coming from the previous one, Vidyuto. So Dyotanam, shining, Vidyotanam, lightning. It's an adjective. Okay. So Vidyotanam means the illumining or the flashing. Kritavat. So who does that? So Kritavat means the person who does it. So this particular line actually is it's a misnomer. I mean, it doesn't make any, I mean, he has made sense here, but it really doesn't make any prominent importance here, because you see this, Vidyotanam Kritavat, who does? So the illumining or the flashing, I can understand the first one is done by the Bhagavan. So here the consciousness is the one which is responsible for the illumining or the flashing. Okay. Jaishankar will because the grammar itself is a little bit tricky. I'm trying to read what it says here. I mean, but I know the meaning of what it says here. So then, iti etad anupapannam iti vidyuto vidyotanam iti kalpayate. So vidyuto vidyotanam. So Vidyotanam Kritavat. So what we should do is take like this. So the illumining or the flashing of the phenomenon should be considered iti kalpayate. Okay. So you take the last one, iti kalpayate. So that should be taken as the one for meditation. The in between words, iti etad. So the word etad, I told you, it talks about Saguna Brahma Upasana. Correct. So etad talks about this Brahma. So what is the Brahma? This Brahma is of the nature of Sagunam Brahma. And what is Sagunam Brahma? Vidyotanam Kritavat. So the one which is illumining, or the one which is appearing as the Vidyut, correct? And it should be taken as iti kalpayate. So one should consider this as the method of meditation. So in short, what he's trying to tell is that when you see the lightning, you meditate on the lightning. And lightning is what? It is a flash of brilliance. And the brilliance is nothing but it is the consciousness which is there behind the brilliance is the one responsible for that. So first you arrive at the brilliance, then you resolve the brilliance also in the consciousness. This is what is the truth. This is a message. So that is, first you meditate on the object, then the object, you understand is the object is nothing but it belongs to the source, correct? So you resolve the object to the source, thereby you're left only with the source. That is what he's trying to do. So for that he has given this Vyakhyanam. So the word when you say here, the word see the word Vyadyutada, Nimishada. So the so it's comparison. So means actually it's a comparison sound made by the So the means what? So that is how we should read it. So the word here indicates, if you look at the chapter first one, Vyadyutadha, Nimishadha. So the the extension rate, right? That is just it tells that I should take this as the meditation. I should take the lightning as a meditation. That is what is mentioned here. So he's saying the winking of the eye is, you should take it. I never knew that. I should take this as meditation. That's what he's saying. So initially he told that you meditate on that. Then he says, I never knew that I should take like this. Correct? So when you say, you say, right? Explanation, you do that. So that explanation is extended. That's what it says here. That indicates comparison is made by the sound . So the A indicates a sound comparison. Okay. Then iti upama arthaha. So this is the comparison talked about here. Vidyuto vidyothanam. So vidyothanam means shining or the flashing of the lightning is what is referred here. Iva iti arthaha. Okay. What a difficult Bhashyam. I don't know why I mean, when I asked my teacher or sometime when I first learned it, said, somebody, why is he making like this? Shankar, sometimes, Adi Shankara likes to go into Sanskrit grammar, etc. Sometimes it is good, sometimes it doesn't make sense because he likes to write like this. So I asked her, why do you have all this? See, the message is very clear. The message is already given in Tasya Prakritasya Brahmanaha Esha Adesha Upamo Upadeshaha. Correct, first line. Second line checks what here? Nirupamasya Brahmano Yena Upamanena Upadesha Sa Ayam Upadeshaha Iti Uchyate. So it's already told that this Vidyutaha or the Nimeshaha is to be taken as this. Correct. So the form, with form Brahman to be meditated for Saguna Brahmapasana. Then when you meditate to Nirguna Upasana, you understand that it's only appearing in form, thereby you remove the form. But for that, he has given the two things. The second line, Vidyotanam Kritavat iti etad anupapannam iti vidyuto vidyotanam iti kalpayate. So that big word which is there, the sentence of that should be taken only as the last two sentences. That means Vidyotanam Kritavat. The one who does the illumining is the one who is the consciousness. The one who does the illumining is to be referred as the consciousness or this Sutradhar, the original person. Iti kalpayate, consider this. Then he says, so okay, so I should do this. So the word indicates what now? That means, till now I was doing something else. Now when I look at the lightning, when I understand the winking of the eye, I should look at this as the first meditation point. Then I should go one level before that. Correct? Iti upama arthaha. So that's what it says here. Only the Bhashyam is more, but the Vishayam is only very simple. Sometimes Shankara likes, I think but there are some other sections where he talks very, very eloquently. Like in 4.6, where he talks about the Adhyatma Upasana. He's very good in the Bhashyam section there. Here somehow, the Vidyuta election here, that particular word I never understood. I told somebody, why did this? It actually means what Anupapannam means. It is not tenable. See, Anupapannam means this particular argument is not tenable. So it says this. Correct. So, Vidyotanam Kritavat means what? The person who's creating this lightning is not tenable because there is no person creating. That's what it means. Because, see, there is nobody who is creating the lightning. Lightning is automatic, correct? But lightning is part of the Prakriti. It just comes. So, Kritavat means the one who does. Correct? So, that one, iti etad anupapannam means what? This particular argument is not tenable. So, he himself has put this and he says that this is not tenable argument. So, you use this example as Vidyotanam iti kalpayate. Vidyuto vidyotanam iti kalpayate. So, the middle word, iti etad anupannam iti, should be left out, meaning it is not tenable. That argument is not tenable because there's really nobody creating this lightning. It is due to Adi Daivatam, correct? Act of God. So you use this meditation only, that is important. Leave the rest in the middle. That's what it said here. So I didn't do the Anupapannam because it is not tenable, means it doesn't hold any water. So if you want the meaning of that word, iti etad means in this way, this Brahman should not be taken or is not tenable for argument as the one which is created. That's what this means. Vidyotanam Kritavata means that which is created. And what is this created? This Brahman. Iti etad. I told you the etad means Sagunam Brahman. Anupapannam iti. So this is not a tenable argument. So you must not use that argument for creation. You must use it as an argument just for manifestation and understand that the manifestation is possible because of the consciousness being there. That's what it is. That's what is intended to say here.
I think we can skip that section.
Yeah, so I think we have completed that. I mean, we have done that section. So the difficult part is over. I mean, always, when I was studying also, I had question, I written down. Why see, it's a noun, why do you want Vidyotanam Kritavata? Why do you have to have that word at all? So, Vidyotanam is supposed to be lightning, and it is shining. So, lightning is supposed to shine anyway. So, why do you have to describe as shining lightning? Because the nature of illumining is what? Illumination, correct? So, illumining, they are not separate, correct? That's why lightning and lighting, they are, the illumination, they are common, they are together. But somehow he is using that word, saying that don't take these two words literally like this. You take the meaning as for Saguna Brahma Upasanam, and then from there you arrive at the Nirguna Brahma Upasanam. That's what is said. 4.4, we are not finished yet, but we will do the next one next class.
Okay.
Do the next. See, in the next page, he is quoting from Upanishads. He is quoting from. If you don't know my teachers, if you don't know anything, just say Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, because everybody quotes something or the other. If you won't find anything there, you will find something there. So Brihadaranyaka Upanishad has got all the text. So whatever is not available anywhere else, it is there in the text. So he quotes from that Shruti, which we'll look at it later. The next class we'll look at it. So the same thing is talked about a little bit elaborately there. We'll go to the next class. But hopefully there's not contradiction, like that particular line was only one contradiction. Not a contradiction, he just put that word somehow just for twisting, to say whether you understand it or not. Okay. It's only for advanced students. So I didn't question her detail. She said,
I think it is not.
By this time you should know. I said,
it's not just for advanced students. 3 times advanced students.
So I understood when she told me she taught me this. Then I asked her, do we think we should mention this? See, sometimes Adi Shankara just puts words just to test or to see what you exactly mean, and for you to contemplate. So he wants to reiterate that it's not tenable argument. See, Anupapanna means not tenable. This doesn't hold water. That there is a creation and lightning is being created. So you must drop that opinion of being created and use the word manifestation as Saguna Brahma Upasanam. Iti kalpayate. Kalpayate means you think like this. You think that it is manifestation of the consciousness, not as a creation. See, Kritavata, you see the word there, Kritavata. So Kritavata means what is a creation, correct? So lightning is created. That's what happens. That's what the meaning. But what he's trying to say is the lightning is created, that particular argument is not tenable. So you use the word lightning is manifestation of knowledge or manifestation of consciousness. In this way you meditate. That's what it says. Okay. That's okay. We'll get there. Uma, you got all your this one for the notes, everything, right? I will complete everything for you because all my scribblings are there. Okay. So when you complete everything, I'll edit everything properly and give it to you. Okay. It's because all my scribbling only I'll understand. Nobody can understand.
My scribbling, see, I am also writing notes because after a few days I cannot understand my own handwriting. That is why compulsorily I write my notes.
See,
type it out.
Me, because when she teaches fast, right? I had to, there are two things happening. I had to write immediately and I had to assimilate some of the words I remember by heart. I know the meaning of it. Some words only write. I don't write elaborate meanings. I just write only a couple of words here and there. Then I understand what it is. So I don't have any elaborate notes or anything like this. So if you listen once before, then subsequently it's easy to write it and understand it. So I will go through that later. पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ओम शांति 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 हरिः ओम तत्सत् श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम नमस्ते Shubhradri, all of you. So I'll see you, Jaishankar, in the other class.
Yes.
On Sunday.
Yeah.
Hari.